During op sessions, Coxton Yard is operated by three individuals. The Coxton Yard yardmaster, who is really the paperwork guru and is responsible for trying to provide directions to an eastbound east yard engineer and a westbound switcher engineer. So now we're going to take a look at the control panel that they used to operate this. The control panel was originally built for direct DC, direct current operations, so each of the major tracks is controlled by a rotary switch. All the individual sidings have a on-off switch. I found that even though we switched over to DCC, it's very useful in leaving them there because we can isolate each of the individual tracks, and quite often that's about the only way that you can isolate where you have a short circuit at. Again, the tracks are numbered. The westbound main and the eastbound main are in heavier tape. And then we have track 3, which is the lead to the storage yard, and it's also the arrival departure track for trains coming in. Down to track 11, which is the lead for the engine facilities and the bypass track for the entire yard. The east yard is controlled by a diode matrix controlling twin coil switch machines. So it uses the switches, the turnouts, are controlled by a push button which will route any of the turnouts required to get to that particular track. So if we wanted to go to track 6, we would push this button and it would throw any of the turnouts needed to get to track 6. So it's going to throw this turnout here and this turnout here. This one down here is on is operated by a tortoise, but everything else here is a twin coil switch machine, and it's operated by the push button. So if we wanted to get from the arrival track to track 2 in the east yard, the storage yard, we would hit this button here, and it will throw any of the turnouts needed to get to track 2. So it would be this one and this one. All the crossovers are controlled by tortoise switch machines, and their direction is indicated by an LED. So the crossover going from the westbound main to the eastbound main is currently set for the main lines, and using the toggle, it will throw both of the turnouts at the same time and will indicate that the crossover is against traffic on the main lines. There is another crossover going between the eastbound main and the arrival departure track. That toggle will throw the 2 turnouts for that crossover, and then the red LED indicates that it's thrown against us, or against mainline traffic. For the westbound yard, all the turnouts on the westbound yard are tortoise switch machines, and they are also controlled operated from a diode matrix using this rotary switch. This rotary switch then, depending on what track we want to go to on the west yard, we just dial it. And if we wanted to go to track 6, it will throw any of the turnouts in the weed, and we will now have a green LED showing that it's lined up to go to track 6. If we wanted to bypass all the tracks and go to track 11, we would rotate it to track 11, and now we have a green LED here showing that the entire ladder is lined up to go to track 11. The turnouts leading to the westbound switching lead or to the diesel service facilities are also controlled by a matrix and push buttons. So if we wanted to go into the service tracks, by hitting that button, it will throw this turnout and this turnout so that our engines are aligned onto that service track. If we're using the switching lead for the west yard, we would hit this button and it will throw this turnout and this turnout as necessary. The Roundhouse is controlled by another rotary switch for each of the 6 tracks. They are numbered, and we can also isolate engines on the lead on either the service leads to the Roundhouse by an on-off switch. So hopefully you have a better idea about what the yard engineers will be using to classify trains and to get them in and out of the yard. At first glance, the control panel may seem a little confusing, and some people may scratch their head, but after, with a little bit of practice, everybody kind of figures it out and it works pretty well.